Notice of emergency meeting, Friday, July 24th, 2026. It is currently 3 p.m. We are at the Old Stockman's Bank on Front Street, and we're performing an emergency meeting under Texas Law, Chapter 551.001 ETA as executive to wit, okay? This meeting is now called to order. City Secretary, please call roll. Here, please stand for a pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We don't have any citizens to be heard. Mel, did you want to have a citizen's comment? Are you good? Thank you so much. I'll make a citizen's comment to you guys, myself as mayor. This team, this was the team that was in place at EOC. Juanita in the background helping David out at the administrative office. David sitting beside me and dealing with all sorts of things. Mel out in the field with the guys, tell the guys kudos over and over again. We could never thank them enough. Um, every employee in this city administration and personnel was out doing something. Not a one person was not doing anything. Whether it was covering the streets, barricades, whether it was covering for Red Cross before they showed up, moving things around. When it was time to implement a shift, David was quick to implement that shift. Mel made it happen. Juanita held the background. So every employee of the city was doing something. Unlike, our counterparts who took 2 days off. This this group did not. This group did not. They worked very hard. And I want you to know that. I want you to know that when it's time to consider things, okay? Um, not one grovel, not one. I mean, those guys were awesome. Everybody. Okay? That's my comment. And thank God, no loss of life. Moving on to item number 5 and why we're coming together. This is discuss and consider an act on renewal of declaration of local disaster as provided by Texas Government Code as annotated in section 418.108B for an additional. I'm going to recommend to you not the 60 days, but I'm going to read it as is, and then we'll do the amendment. 60 days to expire at 11:59 on September 22nd, 2026, extending the Nueces River flooding declaration as amended and executed Sunday, July 19th, 2026, authorizing the mayor to endorse the renewal, requiring notice thereof for be posted as provided by Texas Government Code and as annotated in section 118.108 parentheses C. I'm going to propose to you that the additional 60 days be written and amended as to follow the state's declaration of disaster expiration as prescribed by the governor, by Governor Greg Abbott. So that would follow anything that he's still doing, and that we don't have to come together every 30 days, 60 days, and so on and so forth. Uh, that would take care of it. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
So this would expire when he says everything's
This will expire and it would cover. So it's the point of having you approve the executive order that I put out when I did the emergency order for declaration of, is so that we don't have a gap. If we have a gap, we don't get nothing. Okay. And two, so that we're covered with anything Greg Abbott puts out as a declaration of disaster, any timeline he has. On top of that, any federal thing that he proposes, we continue with this. So we want to get covered on all of that.
Okay.
Okay.
As long as we everything established that needs to be done toward the declaration, if construction or other things occur after the declaration expired, it would be irrelevant at that point. We'd be able to still get reimbursement on what we had reviewed during the declaration. So the two main issues the city has is the two lift stations for the water. And the Jack Herders probably handles about 25% of the city. They were hot when they went on water. You know, they didn't stop it.
Public.
So I guarantee the electronic to try it. That's gonna sometimes that's gonna be design build some of that. It'll take time. You know,
And-
they just pick those things.
And as to your question, Mr. Alvarado, the reason we're circumventing that and continue to pump that out, that is sewage. That is sewage that we don't want spread out. And so 30%, 35% of our city's sewage goes to that pump. So that's the reason that we're trying to work with the Army, not the Army Corps of Engineers, the A&M University and Antigua. Yes, to circumvent that and do it manual in for the proposals because we need to still price all of this. A lot of this that's an old pump and David schooled me on this and a lot of it was manufactured, fixed up, modified. It's not like you can go grab a pump, put it, you're good to go. That's not how it works. Okay, so David, my and I don't know if we can do it during this disaster or not, but is there anywhere else that we could build a lift station for that area that would not go underwater in the event of a flooding like this?
Not there. What the problem is, the main problem is the sewer line going down to the river.
Okay. Okay.
The KOA and then back up again.
So pretty much that's where it has to be.
So your infiltration is sitting in there regardless.
I have a question. In my hometown of Louisiana over there, we had a lift station. Basically, it was in the flood zone area. But what they wound up doing, they wound up removing it. They built a big mound and just did all new piping on the same location, but they got the mound up high enough where it was out of the flood zone area. Is that something we could do?
Well, if you see the lift station, it sticks out of the ground about 4 feet all the way around currently. The biggest problem is the infiltration of the lines that are underground with the gravity. So those are feeding gravity from the river to the lift station, but every one of them's got a manhole over 300 feet. So you seal it, you compress gas, you cause a whole other issue. So they have breathers, there's water getting into that, and it's constant. Even right now, it's running into that lift station. So really, the only way we mitigate it is, the county was trying to run the leak to get pump trucks up in the state. And when I recognized this, I said, hey, whoa, you're wasting material. We need to stop. Let's get out away from the flood. Let's hit the manholes in the streets where it's just sewer coming in. Let's start sucking this stuff out of here so we don't get any more. And really, that's all we can do. And once we're going to get a godly pump. I have star requested to drop godly pumps and tear it this thing. Once we get the godly pump out here, we're still going to be pumping sewer and flood waters because until the river goes back into its bed, that water's going to just keep running around this way. And I understand, demographic in Louisiana, they're under sea level, and there is ways they do it. I see they have pump pump stations all around the city. And when Katrina came in and Levy went over, they couldn't stop it. So I really don't know what else we could really do with that. It'll probably be an engineering question more that, the engineer be able to figure it out.
Well, no, this was basically one sewer lift station that we constantly had problems with, so they had to send it back to the designers. And that particular lift station, they just wanted to get all the electronics out of the water and out of the low lying area, so they just built a big mound and extended everything piping wise down to it. You still had the same problem, like you're saying, inundated with the water and stuff, but it
I agree with that because the electronics are in the vault. So electronics are on the ground right now. They need to come out. I definitely agree with that.
That is the funding going to come back to us for what we have, not to make things better? That's the question. So just because we're getting funding doesn't mean we have the right to do something better. Unfortunately,
well,
so
normally it's
right, it's a
putting
tit for
putting it
tat.
back the way you had it before. They don't get
Absolutely.
extra.
The other thing we're hearing is that we're never going to recover everything.
Yeah.
We're going to recover 75% if funded. That's one. Two, the good thing is that David and the prior administrations, right? Prior councils had done a flood plan and hazard mitigation. So with that being said, we get another 5%. So that's good. That's 80% instead of the 75. Okay. So bottom line is we're going to be out some money. Bottom line.
2024. Wow. And we never had one prior to that, I don't believe. Um, but we can also thinking about the grant that we just were awarded, the 10 million for wastewater. I know I had spoken to the engineer about the month, but he needed for that specific lift station. So we may be able to use a little bit of that fund to do something there. So I need to get the state from the The FN 468 lift station was the one that is one of the ones that feeds that one. That one is set to be replaced out. So.
And it's
Yes, sir. And yeah, you know the replacement of that.
that one you can go away.
Well, no, well, we were pumping it down and I was trying to stop the flow.
No, understood.
But that's, no, it wasn't. Okay. I could have just kept pumping and going to the river.
I mean, I would like to say that we'd get our money back and we just make that way better, you know, but is that something that we're allowed to do? That's the thing. That, you know,
Right. Come to water, work for it. Fine. Okay. Moving forward, we can definitely look at that, this can't meet and come with the current phone. Okay.
so that being said, anybody else have any questions? Anything about how this week went uh pertaining to flooding? No? Okay.
I know that everything went well. Like you said, Mayor, you know, the staff, the city staff, county, the assistants from out of state and local, you know, task force that came in, they did an outstanding job.
Absolutely.
Nobody got hurt. Nobody got, dead or anything like that. That's the main thing. Property can always be replaced, but human lives can't. So,
And then
I-
the bottom line is our locals are ready to volunteer and help.
Right.
And those are the people that are going to help our people most of all. We're going to get whatever funding and whatever we can, but the recovery stage is going to be about Kajula.
Well, the good part is that we didn't have any lost lives.
That's it.
And yesterday we went up in the air and we got a view of our county, our city, and just a little adjustment here and there. That it will be. I mean, we'll be ready for the next one. I hope that there's not a next one anymore, but we'll be more than ready. Everything about the Mustang Creek, it was more of an elevation. There was nothing wrong with the creek, just elevation.
Where you dump trailers? Dump trailers? Dump trailers? Yeah, I mean, just one.
Definitely, we absolutely have to address our capital.
Yeah.
Hey,
I know.
do we have a
Dump truck that has a grappler, I mean, a dump trailer that has a grappler on it also.
that's now?
All right. Right. Absolutely. It's coming, Mel. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to ask for a, do you need me to read the whole thing or just the amended portion of it? I will read the whole thing if you want me to. My question to you is, this is a renewal asking you to extend the 7 days that I've already put in for and continue for the declaration of local disaster as provided by the Texas Government Code as annotated in section 418.108B for an additional that portion right there to be amended to follow the state's declaration of disaster as explained by Governor Abbott and to follow his uh, for an extended period of time for the Nueces River flooding declaration as amended executed on Sunday, July 19, 2026, authorizing the mayor to endorse the renewal, requiring notice thereof be posted as provided by Texas Government Code and as annotated in section 418.108C. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of extending the declaration indefinitely to follow the governor's declaration, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. With that being said, we'll go to item number 6, an adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Okay, I got a second. All in favor of adjournment, say aye. All opposed? We're closed.